Hey everybody, let me know if you're here and you can hear the stream. I apologize for what just happened there. It looks like it's time to upgrade my computer in my garage. It completely locked up. I think I had a few too many things going on. I've got multiple screens, and then with the camera and the mic and everything, it killed it. So we're back for the rest of the teardown. We're almost done here. We basically have the back end and some electrical to remove. Just going to pop back in down here to my channel and see if I can let everybody know that we're live on a new half. Okay, here. Okay, that's the wrong one. Let's see. Uh-oh, now I can hear myself. Let's just shut that off. If anybody's here watching, let me know if you can hear the mic. Okay, there it is. There we are. Okay, this one is down. Okay, great. Thanks, Jim. Hopefully, everyone has moved on and resumed on this one, and we'll continue on. I apologize for that, everyone. I knew I needed to upgrade my computer. I do have the parts. I just haven't had the time to get around to it. It looks like I'm going to have to get around to it sooner if I decide to be able to do some more of these live streams. And I'm kind of enjoying doing it, and I hope everyone that's watching is enjoying this the way that is done as well. Uh, Requires far less editing for me. Okay, so let's continue on. We're just going to remove the electrical now. Spin it around here. So we'll get the CDI off. Okay, I have to remove the coil first. So it doesn't look like the coil has ever been taken off of this bike, nor the CDI. So these are the original bolts, which is good too because a lot of times the length of these ones is odd. It's not the same size that you get whether you get from a Bolt aftermarket kit or even if you do order them from Honda. They tend to be like a millimeter or so different. Okay, so we're gonna have a look at the coil here. The coil is in amazing condition. I'm not sure if this came with an NGK, but that's what that is. Now, I won't replace it as long as it is era specific. I'll leave this on there, and the holder for the CDI is in perfect condition. Plugs are all in perfect condition. I got a little bit of tearing right there in the plastic. Not worried about that. We'll probably just put some shrink stuff around there to hold that together, but all in perfectly good restorable condition. Let's get the tank insulators off. You got to be careful with these; they can get brittle. These are in good shape, coming off no problem. Sometimes they're actually glued on. The first one. It's in good shape. And these ones here are gonna be pretty specific to this bike as well, so they would be hard to find, hard to replace. I don't ever remember seeing one that looks quite like this, the shape. This one, yes, but this back one, no. So, different years and, different models may not have used the same one. It might be specific to this particular year and bike. Okay, let's see, what do we got next here? We have the, exhaust bracket that is broken off. It's no good. We're just gonna take it off there, and it will be tossed. Okay, I'll show it to you. I made a mistake, um, on this, on my '89 build, and I'll tell you what I did. Now, I didn't know. I had no idea that it would happen, but, I took one of these off, and I cleaned all the paint off of the metal parts, and then, I wanted to repaint them and Cerakote them. Oh, what do we got there? We got the wrong size bolt, and that's why he put the nut in the back as a spacer. Okay, but this part right here, so here's, the mistake I made on the last bike. I had no idea. I don't know how this piece of rubber is bonded to the metal. It's obviously some sort of glue that is quite amazing, to be honest with you. And I cleaned all of the paint off the metal, and then I decided that I would Cerakote it. The Cerakote that I was using, I had to bake it. So I put it in the oven, and I baked it. And I took it out, and man, it looked good. Everything looked absolutely perfect. And I go to put it on the bike, and the thing falls right in half. The glue at, 250 degrees had either cooked or melted, and that rubber piece fell right off, and that's pretty much it, because I don't know what kind of glue they used, but I was definitely not going to take a chance at having my exhaust, uh, fall off of the bike, so I had to order a new one, and that was about $100 USD for that. Okay, let's pull the carburetor out now. Not gonna open it up. Oh, hang on. Here's something else I'm gonna show you. You cannot buy these unless you can find some aftermarket place or maybe an online store or something, but most of the time, these are plastic now. They don't come aluminum, so you wanna hang on to these. Try to make sure that you don't wreck it when you're removing it, because if you wanna keep it OEM, you're not gonna find these. I don't know if I have them here. Yeah, for a while here, I had some sitting on the bench. I could show you the plastic ones that you get now. Alright. There's normally another one lower down on the frame over here, but that one is not there. I do have, I think, 3 more of these, which is good 'cause I'm gonna be using them on this build. Okay, let's get that carburetor out of there. Let's see, has anybody loosened it? Oh, look at that. Somebody already loosened it off. Alright, so let's have a look inside there. Wow, that is nice and clean. I like that. I'm looking at the slide in there. I'm not seeing scratches. I'm actually gonna loosen this off because I wanna pull it out, and I just wanna see oh, that is so good. There's a lot of times, there's so much slop right there, and I'm telling you, you might as well change your carburetor. That's it. If the slide has worn the inside of your carburetor out, you're just gonna pull more air through there, and you're never gonna be able to set it up right. This is absolutely perfect. Somebody took good care of ensuring that they kept their filter clean, they kept their fuel clean, and, that's great. 'Cause I hate setting up these old carburetors when you just don't know if you're pulling too much air through somewhere. Alright, let's just stuff a cloth in there. Alright, so completely restorable part. Let's check out the choke. Everything feels good there. Let's see if it turns. That's the oh, yeah. See that? It is not turning at all. So, this here, this part, this is a by the time I get it here to Canada, it's $120 part, and I'm gonna have no choice but to order one. I know Dave's got some. I don't think Dave is here right now. He might have joined up and watched again, the guy that I originally bought this bike off of, but, this is good this has a little crack in it. I'm gonna order a brand new one for it because I want this build to be really good and, as close to brand new OEM as possible. But that one gets fixed, so it's done. The likelihood of loosening it up is slim to none. Let's have a look at the throttle cable. I don't see any issues there. Restorable part. Let's just see how well it slides, and no problems in there. That's good. Okay, next, let's take well, we got the brake cable or the clutch cable sitting here on the floor, so I might as well grab that. Clutch cable, see how well it slides. It's actually a little bit stiff. I don't like that. That usually tells you that you've got a bit of a bend or you got a lot of crap in there, so I'll clean it up because I do see I don't know if you can see that, it's really dirty. We'll clean it right up, see if we can get it so that it works properly. Aside from that, visually, it's in really good shape. It's got a bit of plastic melting right there, which I can clean up. So, the boot is really good. There's no tears in it. Alright, so we'll be able to reuse that, another restorable part. I'm really excited about the amount of restorable parts on this bike. I hate it when I get a bike when I'm looking at it going, "Oh, well, gotta order one of those, gotta order one of those, gotta order one of those, one of those, and one of those." And then the next thing you know, you're on eBay, you're punching it all up, and you're $1,000 deep, and you haven't even dismantled the bike yet. Okay, let's remove the subframe now. Makes everything else go nice and easy. Now you're probably asking yourself, "Why didn't he clean the bike?" I know, I am so guilty of not doing this with almost every flipping build I do. I don't clean it before I take it apart, and I let time catch up with me, and it is, fall leading into winter here, cold. I really don't wanna be out there pressure washing it all off and, getting ice everywhere, so that is why I did not, wash it. Okay, week 12. Oh, no, we don't. We have a non-metric size head. Now, it always scares me when, I see a bolt head that is not OEM and doesn't look metric, and I'm thinking, "Oh god, did they cross thread something in, standard size bolt?" But I believe this one is metric, not an OEM bolt. Alright. Just gonna throw some bolts and some baggies here. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. For the rods. Now, normally I label all of these, but I know after building so many of these exactly what a lot of them are. I don't even need to bother. I can just put them in a baggie, and I know where they came from. It's kind of funny. I've got labels on these from the last build, so I better know where they came from because that's definitely not the stator cover bolts. I know one thing, it's gonna be a lot easier doing this one than the last 2. I am never going to do 2 bikes at once again. That was, uh, that was just too much. You know, you restore a part, it takes quite a bit of time, and then, you realize, "Oh my gosh, I still have another one identical to that to restore." So, it looks at first I thought maybe the subframe hadn't been removed, but it definitely has. So here's another bolt. You definitely wanna make sure that you do not lose. This one is specific. It has a slot on it or a couple of little nubs on it and then the slot on the frame. I've almost every bike that I've ever torn down, this was still on it, but I did come across one where it was not, and I was looking around to try and replace it because they're a non-replaceable part. You can't order this anymore. The only way that I could get one is I had to order a subframe from somebody. So I had to get a whole 'nother subframe that I didn't even need. Okay, I think we can take this off now. So let's have a look at the subframe. It's so hard to tell if it's straight or not, because you just don't know where the bends are, right? This one's pretty good. It looks like it might be a little bit bent. I don't know if you can see that. You see how it's got that little peak up there? But looking at the back, it looks good. The fender looked a little bit wonky looking at the back, but, the seat looks straight. So, everything looks good. Another restorable part. This nut still has the threads in it, but I think you know what? I think that I don't know if that's original. I'm gonna have to look that up. I do not know if that nut is original. See that nut right there? Something just doesn't quite look right about that. Perhaps. Alright, let's move on to the airbox. Now, have a look at this, guys. I do not think this is stock. Somebody has drilled out this airbox, and they have installed all of these screens in them. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody please comment right now if you know. This one here definitely looks cut out. These ones here are very professional looking. I almost wanna see if, maybe I can order 3 of these from somewhere and put them in the front, or maybe I should just try and get another airbox. Stick with my OEM plan and keep this one as a spare to be able to provide to the customer. The shock protector at the back, is has been cut. I'm pretty sure it has been anyway. I do not believe that is the, right angle right there. You can see that. I think I have another one, an OEM one, so I'll be okay there. The boot is in really good shape, nice and soft and pliable, no tears anywhere. The clamp is in restorable shape. So we're good there. I'm gonna do some research. Okay, so no, it did not have screens in yours. Okay, so it's definitely an aftermarket thing. I'm gonna do some research though, and I'm gonna see if this is a time era type thing that where this was a kit that you could basically order for your CR500 to get more air. Now, obviously, we don't want water in our bike. Um, I don't plan on riding this bike in the water, so I don't have to worry. It's just gonna allow more airflow to get in there. I don't know if it's necessary or not. Probably not for me. because, I don't think I'm gonna need any more power, by opening it up and allowing it to have more air. So, I will look and see if I can get another air box. Dave might even have one. Um, I'll contact him and see what he's got. I think this air box works for the 85 through 87. Don't quote me on that. I gotta do some research, but, still usable, restorable part. Even if I don't use it, somebody else might want this for their bike. Okay, knew I should have worn gloves, right? Okay, let's take off the rear tire, and then we'll go with the shock. All right? Ah, okay. This is something I have to get a wrench for. I use my adjustable wrench for this all the time, and you risk damaging the, edges of the nut when you're trying to restore bikes like this, and that nut is not cheap. I think, the last one that I bought was, by the time I got it, something like 30, 40 bucks. 'Kay, well, it is nice and loose anyway, so whoever had this bike beforehand, looks like maybe they had already started, um, you know, tearing things down and then just kinda put it back together again. Could probably just jack this up a little bit. And is that axle gonna come out of there easy, or is it gonna fight me? Well, I think it's gonna fight me a bit. There we go. Just put the wheel off to the side for a second here and have a look at the bolt. Let's have a look at the chain adjusters. These are made out of steel. The chain adjusters on the later models are made out of something else, possibly aluminum. They're a lot lighter. These ones here are solid. That's interesting. Look at that. So have a look at that washer, guys. I don't know if this is supposed to be here or not. I've never taken an 87 apart, but this is what I mean about when you're taking the bike apart. You wanna take your time, especially when we get into that motor, because if you lose this little tiny washer and it's required, um, it can be difficult to find. It's you don't find washers like that everywhere in your local hardware store or even at your little local motorcycle store. They might come out with a box full of washers and say, "Here, just try and find one that matches," but it's not the OEM one. It's not the one that originally came on the bike, so what else do we got going on here? What the heck is this thing? Wow, is that the seal? That's interesting. I have no idea what that is. I think it's the seal, and it's kinda bonded itself to what's left of, the other one of these. Wow. Well, that I'm gonna have to find a replacement for sure. I don't think that is correct. Let's see. Yeah, no, there's definitely something missing here. Alright, well, we'll just put that back on. It looks like the bearing wants to fall right out of the wheel here, so let's have a look at that. That nut is in excellent shape. I'll be able to restore that and make it look just like brand new again. I think it's funny here looking in my bins of, how much stuff is in them, and it's really next to nothing compared to when I tore down those 250s. So many more parts when you double it. Okay, let's have a look at the wheel. Bearing is literally falling right out. Oh, that is bad news, guys. Really bad news. Hopefully I got another one of these. So just have a look. See that? You see that slop? So this bearing has been spinning in the hub. That's it. This hub is probably shot, unless, of course, it wore the outer race of the bearing, which is not like, it will there's movement there, it'll never tighten up, like, it'll vibrate. So, I think I have another hub that matches this, I really hope so. If not, that is not a restorable part. You think I look at what the guy did on this, he wired all of his spokes together. Gosh, that would make it rigid. I've never seen that done. I've s I've I've never done it. I've seen it done on bikes. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. Maybe it saves from breaking them. Uh, yeah, that's bad. No kidding, right? And the hub itself is in really good shape, so I'm gonna have to grab another wheel bearing and just see if it fits tight. 'Cause man, I'm looking at that hub now and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know if I got one that matches that." I just threw out a bunch because they were very specific to a year, and I'm never gonna build that year again. And if I were to build that year again, I'm gonna update the hubs. I don't even wanna deal with the old hubs, when they were so specific to 1 year of bike. Okay, well, yeah, I think that's shot. Brake rotor is done. Oh, wow. Yeah, there's probably a full millimeter of wear. Thank goodness I have some more of those. Okay, so basically, I'm gonna try and save the spokes. That's what I'm gonna be targeting on this. The rim itself is, I believe, the original. It's actually in really good shape. It needs to be reanodized. I need to find out where I can get that done and how much it costs and see if it's a viable thing. Um, I like to keep everything as OEM as possible, but when it gets to the point where it just financially doesn't make sense for myself or the new buyer, gotta go with something else. Okay, so there we go. That is the tire, really a non-restorable part. Let's remove the what are we gonna do? Remove the rear brake next? Yeah, let's do that. Trying to eliminate as much stuff from the swing arm as possible. Yeah, this bike was definitely in the process of being torn down or just, being slightly reassembled. Okay. Well, I did not grab the, socket I need for that. Give me 1 sec. Okay, there it is. Now these 2 bolts here are special as well. Do not wanna lose these. When I remove them, I put them right back in the master cylinder. That way they don't get mixed up with anything else, because they can get mixed up with the brake rotor bolts, and they are slightly different. So just put them right back in where you took them out once you get that master cylinder out of the way, separated from the frame. Another plus, this is another item that is not usually on the bikes, after this many years, is the spring. They're almost always gone, and getting a replacement of the right size, OEM spec size is, not something that happens very often either. It's just a part that you can't get anymore. So this brake, this has all been removed at some point because I've got the wrong bolt in here, and this is not generally one that vibrates out. Okay, see if I can get it out. This clip is, you can see that just snapped right off. It's old and brittle. If you can actually recover and restore these, it's had to have been stored in an environment where there wasn't a huge fluctuation in temperature, or it didn't sit out in the sun for a long time. Because this is pretty much what happens with them right away. They just snap right off after this many years. Okay, I'm not gonna disassemble any of this. We're gonna leave it all together. Gonna have a quick look at it. So we've got some rash there. That is Kickstarter or kick lever rash. Lots of people don't know what that's from. They can't figure it out. That is from your Kickstarter. Getting sloppy and then coming down and hitting it. Right? So you got to make sure that you service your Kickstarter. Take it apart, lube it up, make sure you don't get a bunch of dirt in there because it'll wear it out fast, and then it's going to wear this out. And most Kickstarter levers, you can get them. There's a few that you can't, but most you can. This part, you can't. They don't make them because it's not something that everyone's been after, so nobody's decided to start producing it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this hose clean. I hope so. Um, I know an OEM hose like this, you can't get them. They don't make them. It'll come in all black. The disc guard is cracked. It's broken, so it's junk. That's okay. This part here, they didn't change it year to year. I can't remember how far back you can go, but first year that they had the disc brake, I think on the 250, and they used the same one all the way up until I have no idea what year it is, but you can buy them brand new from Honda. We got a little bit of wear from in here where things were not right and the wheel was hitting. That's probably because of that bad bearing in there. Brake pads are definitely a replacement item. They are completely shot. The guard's in really good shape. A lot of times this gets chewed right up. So for the most part, all restorable. This is restorable. It does have a fair amount of it taken out. Like, can you see that? It's a pretty good chunk of metal taken out of there. I can clean that up and make it look good. There is still enough metal there for it to be safe to use. Um, I don't believe I have another one. I think this is another year specific thing. I'll see what I can do about replacing it with one that's in excellent condition, but I may just have to go with that one. All right, we are down to the swing arm and the shock. We'll take that shock off right now. The swing arm, the bolt came out no problem, but I know the bolts on the linkage, the dog bone, they could be they could definitely be an issue. They tend to not get serviced, and then they seize up. So let's see what happens and if we can get it off of there. So as we have 13, there's my 13. All right, this one here's a 14. So I'm gonna just I might just leave the shock attached here. We'll see how it goes, and then take it apart. Let's see. Oh my gosh! Yeah, that bolt is. Oh boy, that is tight. I don't want to mess up that bolt. I'll give it a couple of taps. See if I can get it to loosen up a bit, but no, no, that's not coming off. I risk coming off the side of it and screwing up that bolt. I don't wanna screw up that bolt. So we're just gonna take this all off in one, because I was able to get the dog bone bolt out, and then, we'll try and get it apart with it separate from the frame. Okay, what do we got here? 17. I have a feeling that this shock has been removed. It, the bolts, well, pardon me, no, maybe not. Talking about the wrong part here. I think this bolt has been removed, but the rest of it, I think, was all still attached. I think the frame actually has some paint on it that is not the original. This bolt here, you definitely wanna, you know what, I'm gonna put it right back in the shock. Sorry about that, because it's a specific bolt for a specific spot. Keep it together. Don't wanna mix or lose that. Okay. Oh, really? That's not the same year. This is definitely, well, you know what? Pardon me. This should be what's on the 87. I don't wanna go over and have a look at the schematics right now, but I do believe the 87 500 had this shock. I don't think it had the integrated one. You know what? Give me half a second here. Let me check it out. Let me take a second. I think it was 88 that they changed that shock. No, 87. Oh, well, look at that. You're right. Uh-huh. So, that's not good. Well, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I'm gonna have to find out if, maybe this is a half year or something. I'll have to run the serial number, or whoops, somebody has replaced the entire back end of this with an 86. Huh, wow. Or this doesn't have the plate on it. Shoot. Hmm. Going to have to do some investigating here. Dang. I know that swing, I don't think that swing arm looks like that in 86. 86 is different. So maybe they just swapped out the shock. Just quickly have a look at this. 86. Okay, so 86 was the shock that's on it. And yeah, okay, so the swing arm is definitely an 87, but the shock is not. So, do I have some weird half year, or did somebody change out the shock and put an 87 or an 86 shock in it? Okay, well, I'll have to let you know about that in the next video. I have to do some investigating. So let's get it off of here. Hey, Dave, are you still watching? Because if you are, pipe in here and tell me what you might know about it. All right. You gonna come out of there, or are you gonna make me take that entire clamp right off? I think you're gonna make me take it right off. That's okay. Well, you're not. Oh, wow. That is so sloppy in the bottom. Oh, there's no up and down movement, though. Maybe that's a good sign. Okay, let's have a look. These are usually glued on, but in this case, they shouldn't be. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Gosh, I hope that I don't have some oddball bike here. I hate it when I get the oddballs. And oh, thanks. Thank you very much on that spare shock. Yeah. I hope I don't have some crossbreed bike here because it gets very expensive, especially if I have to replace the frame. If the frame winds up being an 86 and not an 87, I don't know what the difference is, if there is one. Okay. Well, I gotta take these completely off anyway. So also, these here, these clamps, don't lose these. Don't throw them away. They are not a replaceable OEM part as far as I'm aware. I haven't seen them available. It always says not available, and it doesn't give a timeline of when you could order them, so I would imagine nobody's making them. And you can see they only have the slots for about 2 inches. The regular hose clamp has slots that go almost all the way around, and, I've used ones like that, but it looks much better when the slots are on the back, you can't even see them, and you've got that solid band around there. Okay, we are at the point where I think I can get that bolt out for the dog bone. Just gotta loosen off a little bit more. You know what? I've already got it loosened off, so I should be able to just buzz it right out, not have to worry about messing up any of the threads. Oh, yeah, right. Got that nut on the other side there. Forgot about that. It's the shock that has no nut. Okay, where's my 14? You guys still see me? Yeah, sure that I can get that on there. Actually, that's probably a 13 on that side, isn't it? Shouldn't be. Right. Has this nut been replaced too? Felt awfully sloppy there. Okay, we are there. This bolt here, I don't know how many times I've never been able to get this bolt out of some bikes. I'm so happy that this one is coming out easy. I think it's time to take the frame off the stand. Or at least turn it on its side. Okay. We're gonna put this bolt right back in when I take it off. It's another like specific bolt. You don't want to mix it up with something else, not know where it goes. Huh. Swing arm nut doesn't want to come off. Okay. No, sorry guys, no power tools. The reason that I'm not using power tools is I don't want to cause, it to ratchet onto the edge and, damage the edge of the bolt. So I'm trying to save every single part on this bike that I can to restore it, and power tools tend to round the corners of, all of your bolts and nuts. Oh, there goes the frame. Alright, so let's have a look at the swing arm axle bolt. Everything's in good shape. All the edges are good. They're not rounded off, so restorable part. Now let's get that shock bolt out. Where is that? 14. Almost there. Almost got it all apart. Like if it was bolts that I didn't need, then yes, I would use power tools. I did use power tool in a couple of cases. Oh my gosh, that does not want to come off at all. Not at all. I might have to wind up heating this up. You know what? First off, let me get a bigger drive here. Here's my half inch. See if I can hang on to it a little bit better. Oh, got it. That bearing, it feels like it's pretty shot. A little bit more movement than what it should. All right. So there we have the shock, which I've been told is possibly the wrong one. That this is possibly out of an 86, which concerns me because I'm going to have to look at the frame now to make sure that it's not an 86. I do not believe it is. Rad shrouds and stuff all say I think 87, but I'm going to be looking into it right after this video. So the shock is definitely a restorable item. It's all in very good condition. It's even got the original warning sticker still on it. That's really nice. And the rod doesn't look worn. All the chrome is still on it. So restorable part, whether or not I use it for this bike or not, we'll have to see if it is actually the one that is supposed to be on it. Okay, so let's have a look at the swing arm. I'm not gonna totally take this apart. I'm gonna show you why here in a second. So this part here, obviously I gotta remove it. The linkage all has to come off. It's in good shape. There's no serious damage. There's no, like the aluminum is not coming apart and flaking or anything like that. But you can see on this side of the swing arm, it was set up for a kickstand, and I definitely can't have that. So if I cannot find another swing arm, I'll take it to somebody and I'll have it welded up, and then I'll get it all ground off so you don't even know it's there. I mean, you're probably going to see it, but I think I can get another swing arm. This one's just in such really good shape. I didn't want to have to buy another one. Got a little bit of road rash over on this side. Still a restorable, usable part, whether or not I keep it or not. Chain, guide, completely shot. Chain guard is in really good condition, don't have to replace that. So, couple of brake line guides and, all new bearings. Okay, tear that all down later. Let's get back to the frame that fell over. Okay, so here in a few minutes after the video is over, I'm gonna go look up, the serial number, do a quick search online, and then right away I'm gonna know what year it is. I don't know if I can see it clearly right now because there's a number in there that tells you what year it is. Can't remember which one it is, but, I'll look it up here after. Foot pegs, show you guys the foot pegs. They're in amazing condition. Um, they're a restorable part. Let's have a look at the bottom. Check out the bottom. Look at that. Look at the frame. Wow. Has this been worked on? You know what? Plates have been added to this. You guys see it? Look, I don't think that's stock. Never seen that before. I think plates have been welded on. Uh, hey, Jim, type in here if you know anything about, the frame looking like that on yours. Like, do you have the round tube all the way down, or does it look like there's something added to it? Because this one looks like something's been added to it. So maybe the frame was a bit dinged up. Gosh, looking at some of the welds, the factory welds, I think those are the factory welds unless somebody's repaired this frame. I don't even have another one to compare it to. I have to go online and look for some pictures and stuff, but yeah, I wonder if that it doesn't look like that, eh? Yeah, okay, so I think it's been added. Oh, man, you know what that says to me? Like, now I'm wondering if I have the right year of frame. Well, that's gonna be about it, guys. We got it all torn down. Obviously, we've come into, some problems I'm gonna have to look up and see if I actually do have the right frame for the rest of the bike here, because the plan was to build an '87, not an '86. Um, if I can't find another frame, the frame is still in good shape. The work that was done to it with the added plates on the bottom are pretty good. They don't like, you would be hard pressed to tell unless you knew what you were looking for. So, I can still go with this frame as long as it is from an '87. All the rest of the parts you saw were in really remarkable condition. I got a new pipe that I'm gonna be picking up, an OEM pipe. I'm gonna have to look for an OEM silencer. I'm gonna have to look for a swing arm. Gonna have to look for an airbox. Gonna have to look for a rear shock if I got the wrong one. So there you go. That's how things can start adding up when you're doing an OEM restore. If you're just doing a complete teardown and rebuild with the stuff that you have, which I could, and it's still gonna be a great bike. Um, it probably wouldn't cost that much, but those parts that I just told you about, if I have to buy those, that's another $1,000 added to the bill that I wasn't expecting right away. 1,000 bucks, easy, 1,000 bucks, because I know that frame or the swing arm is gonna cost me a couple of hundred. A rear shock is gonna be, well, probably around 300. That airbox is gonna cost me at least 100 or more. The pipe I already know is gonna be 300. So, if you're planning on getting into this, be prepared. Be prepared for some of the things we found here today. Okay, guys, so that's gonna wrap it up. I gotta go have dinner. I hope you all enjoyed this, and, if you did, leave some comments in the video after that you'd like to see more of this live stuff happen, because the next thing I'll do is a live tear down of the motor and find out what issues we might have there. Cross my fingers, none, and I'll be able to just simply replace all the bearings and do the top and bottom end on it and put it back together. Alright, thanks for watching. Take care. See you guys all next video. Okay, Jim. Will do.